Imagine that you've been studying a language for quite some time now, even years, and you got a lot to show for it. But once in a while, you come across a word that you should know, but don't. It's a weird feeling, and the more you pay attention to it, the scarier it gets. Does that mean my level isn't actually advanced, or even intermediate? Have I been lying to myself? Oh, I think I'm a fraud. There's something seriously wrong with me. This is never gonna work. Such an experience becomes more and more common as you progress through the language, because as your skill increases, so does your perception of what you should be able to tackle. This, while true, can be very dangerous and ruin your learning journey, even to the point of quitting. To see why this happens and how to avoid this trap, we need to first understand something I like to call the Swiss cheese model for learning languages. When we start learning a new language, we start from the basics, the first layer of the cheese. We then start building on top of that, trying to reach new levels. And our cheese gets higher with every new layer. But since what we do is sort of a simulation of the language, something simpler, that our brain is able to handle, there are a ton of words and expressions we never even get exposed to, some of which do seem to belong to easier levels. This is also a natural result of developing your ability and knowledge of the language in some topics, while leaving many others understudied, which is completely normal and fair. So you may be perfectly capable of using relatively complex words like opacity, deception, or battleship, while having no clue of something as simple as the word broom. By the way, this happened to me while learning English. This is a hole in your Swiss cheese, a blind spot. You know stuff below, on, and also above this level, but you somehow miss this one, and you start wondering how many more you may have missed. The whole structural integrity of your cheese, so the language you're learning, suddenly feels compromised. So, how do we solve the Swiss cheese problem? There are a few things we can try. The first one is just trying to fill the holes. These are actually called eyes, so yeah, there goes another one. You simply try to spot them and solve them, one after another. This process will be part of the solution and will definitely contribute to the depth and richness of your language skills. But unfortunately, actually completing it or even getting close to it is pretty much impossible. Luckily for us, it is also unnecessary. Let's be real, there are a lot of eyes in this cheese. But you know what there's even more of? Well, cheese. The stuff you do know and all the different things you can do with it. A great thing about language is that you can use the words and expressions you already know to describe those that you don't. In that way, you can access the knowledge of the other person, almost like a USB cable. Doing this will drastically increase your confidence in your ability to use the language effectively, despite all the holes in your learning. The next one is selective attacks. What I mean by selective attacks is you create a list of topics that may contain many of these holes: astronomy, cooking, business, photography. Then you choose one of these topics and try to learn a bunch of keywords in bulk. Now it's important that you see them used together in context, which you can do by searching Wikipedia articles or even just asking ChatGPT to make a text for you using the words. The great thing about these selective attacks is that you can choose topics that interest you, in which you would like to be more articulate, while skipping those that you may not want to know so much about. And the last one is to recalibrate your expectations. All these techniques will make this hole smaller, but they will not disappear. There will always be some, just as there are plenty in our mother tongues too. We just don't think much of them. The best thing we can do is focus on what we already know and how much we can already do with it. We should still carry on with our learning, but with ease and always trying to enjoy ourselves. These annoying holes are actually the opportunity to create something unique, to reach a greater understanding and an enriched level of expression, and are what makes human languages so incredibly fascinating and wonderful to explore.